once. Maybe we can be on chill tonight. Maybe I can give you chills too quickly for months. Why can't you agree with me for once? Agree for months. Why can't you agree with me for once? Agree for months.
Hello all, long time no see. Today's video is going to be on why men cheat. So my disclaimer, like I like to do in all my videos, is this is not going to be the gospel. This is just going to be some generalization, some things I've learned through experience, through other people, asking questions, doing research. I've come to some commonalities on why men cheat. So I want to share with you ladies because oftentimes we take cheating to the heart, which you should. It's just not, my cup of tea. It's not most people's cup of tea, but it's not about you. And that's just something that we have to realize as women, because men and women are so different, from society to biology to patriarchy. Everything, literally everything about us is different. The way we were raised is different. The way that we're taught values is different. The things that we're taught to value are different. So cheating is just part of that learning curve. Something that you're not taught and that you need to know is that when a man cheats on you, it's not about you. It's about his insecurities. It's about where he is in his learning process, his maturity, his everything. It's about him. It's not about what you bring to the table. It's not about how pretty you are, what you bring to the bedroom, your potential and how you can help him grow spiritually, emotionally, financially, whatever. It's not about you. It's about him understanding what long-term goals are against short-term goals. His maturity, understanding consequences, because oftentimes, especially young men, they're not subject to consequences, or the consequences that they have don't affect them enough that they're like, oh, okay, I don't want to do that no more. It's not like when you touch a really hot pot and you're like, oh shit, that hurt, I'm not going to do that anymore. It's more like, oh, that was warmer than I anticipated. Ooh, I might do that again. It's just not the same. And like I said, it's society, it's biology, it's the way they were raised. When it comes to men, there is something in their brain that no matter how good you are, how whatever you are, they still seek variety. Doesn't make sense to me either. I read the whole study and I still I'm not even sure how to really explain it to y'all, so I'm sorry about that. I may do another video on that variety aspect because I'm still haven't been able to grasp it enough to regurgitate it back to y'all. But that is a thing, and something else that is biology is there is a piece in our brains that isn't solidified until we're about 25, 26 for women. I'd assume it's later for men. It says everybody's 25 or 26, but we know that they are a little late on the maturity level when it comes to things like that, unless they've been through something and it forced them to grow up a little faster. But it's just that thing in your brain that says, oh, that's not something that I should be doing. Or, oh, there will be consequences to this. Or, oh, no, don't do that. That thing in our brain is just not solid. That's why kids do things and you're like, why did you do that? And they're just like, and they really don't have an answer because that part of them isn't solid yet. They really don't know why they decided to do the thing they knew was going to get them in trouble. So it's kind of like that. So back to some of the basics. Society, patriarchy. It's just kind of written into history that when a man cheats, it's okay. There's not really any consequences for it. You're supposed to love him anyway. It was a mistake. Whatever. It's not a mistake, it's a choice. If you choose to believe that, that's you. We're all subject to our own beliefs and how we want to live our lives. But if you are cheating on somebody, especially somebody who is attempting to love you as best as they can, if you're not actively telling them, hey, maybe that's not the right way to love me, I need X, Y, and Z, that's still your fail. It's still on you, the cheater, as to why you're hurting this person. Because once you find out about cheating, once somebody cheats on you, that's just a mark on you. It's like any scar. No matter how much it heals, there's still a mark there. You can see it. It hurts. You remember it. You remember exactly what happened, how it happened, whatever. So, to all the cheaters, either do one of two things: break up with the person, no matter how much you enjoy the way that they love you. If you're not willing to love them correctly the way back, leave them alone. You don't deserve them. Or two, find somebody that you don't have to cheat on. Find somebody who's cool for an open relationship, because those people are out there. There are plenty of people out in this world who don't want to be tied down by heteronormative values, or just, the basic everyday type thing. They're interested in exploring the world with you, exploring other people, maybe with you or without you. But that's something that you have to be able to be open to too. Like, you want to cheat or not cheat, just be promiscuous, which is said is okay for young men. Cool. Find somebody who's okay with that, who doesn't mind your promiscuity and is out here being promiscuous too. But if you're in a relationship with somebody who is trying to be just with you and they want you to be just with them, leave them or tell them that you can't do that for them. But don't lead them on a lot to them. Now, if you're in a position where you've told your partner, hey, I need you to do this or I need you to do that for me to feel whatever it is I need to feel to be loved efficiently. If you've done that part, told them, explained to them, because communication is key to any relationship. If you can't communicate your issues, there is no issue. So if you've done that part and that person is still refusing to, just go a little bit more and love you the way that you need to be loved, then that's when you need to take a step back and evaluate if this is really a relationship you want to be in anyway. Like, what is the point of you being with somebody that you have to cheat on because they refuse to give you what you need? Most oftentimes it's not something hard, it's just slight tweaks so that person can feel the kind of love that they need to feel. If that person's not willing to do that slight, adjustment for you, maybe you should rethink if you really want to be in a relationship with them. Find somebody else. Find somebody who's willing to do an adjustment for you. Just what's the point of cheating on them when you already know they're not the person for you? I actually get into, sorry about my little soapbox. It's just people need to do better at that time, kind of thing. Communication. So, men often cheat for one of two reasons. The first one is maturity level. They're still trying to figure out where they're going, how they're going to get there. They're just still growing up. And sometimes when you're growing up, you don't always make the right decision because, like I said, you're still growing. It's called growing pains for a reason. It's not easy. And sometimes it hurts. And because they're still going through that growing process, they don't really understand how cheating on their partner will affect their partner. No matter how they find out, whether you tell your partner, whether the girl texts her, the boy texts him, whatever, it's going to leave an imprint on that person because it hurts. It makes them oftentimes doubt themselves. Very few people have been cheated on and don't at some point think, is it me? So now you've given this person a complex that they didn't need to have by your cheating. And it was all because you were growing. And that's just kind of how it is. For example, when I was cheated on by my boyfriend, we were young. We were in high school, and it was, first love. It was all giddy and blah, blah, blah. We were really sexually compatible. We got together that last year. We went through it. We were, good. We had some hitches. Everybody has hitches. But for the most part, I trusted him because we have been friends since the 7th grade. And then we just, grew on our relationship as friends. So when it was time for college, he told me he wasn't really, comfortable with the long-term relationship thing. And I was like, okay, I understand. It's not really, my preference either. I prefer us not to be long distance, but let's just give it a try because I feel like we love each other. And if we really, try this out, if we really give it our effort, we can figure it out and maybe, continue. I was his first. He was not mine. So he had never really had any variety. He had only had a Sour Patch Kid. And so when he did cheat on me, he didn't tell me until like 2, 3 years later down the line. And even though it was 3 years later down the line, I was hurt by it. I was like, wow. Like, I didn't think that there was anything wrong with me. I didn't think it was my sex. I knew that wasn't it. It was just, the circumstances. We were so far away. We went from having sex almost daily to every few months, once or twice. Like I said, he had only had a Sour Patch Kid. So then when he got to college and he saw Snickers and Twix and whatever else other kind of candy you can think of, it was inviting. It was temptation. And we were young, so he didn't understand how to handle that temptation. Now, because we built our relationship as friends first, I didn't understand why he felt the need to cheat on me because I had already made my stance clear on how I felt about cheating. I was like, you can't come back from that with me. It's just your best bet to just break up with me. I had put it out there, just let me go if you know you can't do it with me. And he still went on about his business and cheated. Now, when communication is open, the way that I had tried to set it up with my boyfriend at the time, there's really no reason to go out of your way to cheat. Just talk to the person. They've literally already said, just talk to me. So just do that. Don't go out of your way to try to hurt their feelings, because my feelings were still hurt. Even though it wasn't me like, oh, maybe there's something wrong with me. It was still like a breach of our trust and our loyalty that I thought we had to each other. Yeah, no, we're not together anymore. We had broken up by the time he had told me, but I thought we were friends. You don't do your friends dirty like that, or at least that's what I thought. Sometimes, especially when men are younger, they think that they just need quick pussy. Even though it's not as good as the pussy they could possibly be getting if they waited a little bit longer, it's already there. It's convenient. It's like when you go to the corner store because you don't feel like putting real clothes on or going that far, and so you pay $3 for eggs, $4 for eggs, when if you go a little bit further to H-E-B and make that drive and make that wait and put them clothes on, you're only going to pay $2. You get a convenience charge when you decide to go out of your way to hurt somebody's feelings and to cheat on them. Reason number 2. They just think they'll get away with it. And that goes back to the consequences. Some people just have that confidence in themselves, especially men, because it's just kind of put into them from birth. You the shit. It's you. That they think, okay, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to make this decision. Maybe hurt somebody's feelings, maybe not, who knows. But there aren't going to be any consequences. This girl, this boy, this whoever I'm dealing with loves me so much that no matter what I do, even if I go eat everybody else's cake and still come home to her, I came home to her. So I did my job. That's her reward. I came home to her, even though I was out here in everybody's, dishes. And that's because of, like I said, consequences. There aren't any tangible consequences. They think either, one, they're not going to get caught, or 2, even if they do get caught, you're not going to go nowhere. Maybe you yell, maybe you'll scream, maybe you go stay at your friend's house for a few days, but you're going to come back. And you're going to deal with their bullshit, whatever it is. That's just the thought process. Why? Again, I don't know. I'm not a young man. I'll never understand it. Especially like out in this world now, and men knew how bad it was and how they friends was treating people, maybe even how they were treating people. I'm a firm believer that all hoes have girls. Feel how you want to feel about that. Not every girl that's ever been born is to a hoe, a past hoe. But most of the time, they have girls, at least from what I've seen. Maybe it's coincidence, maybe it's not. But they start to build up their daughters differently. They let them know that you don't need a man. They showed them how to protect themselves. My dad showed me how to box. He made sure I keep a switchblade on me at all times. He showed me how to protect myself. And he also let me know that I don't need nobody. Anybody that I have on my side is somebody that's going to add to me. If they take anything away from you, that's not somebody that you need. So, like I said, I don't understand that logic because I'm from that generation. Most of my friends are like that. Their parents instilled that kind of thing in them that you don't really have to worry about nobody. If they come along to add to you, cool. Keep them. If they don't, leave them right where you found them. So, and when I say real tangible consequences, I mean like leaving, giving them a lack of you, not allowing them access to your energy, your body, who you are. Because if you are cheated on by somebody and you leave, but you still fucking them, you haven't done anything. They're not being punished. They're still allowed access to you. You're probably still doing a lot of the things you were doing. You just use your words verbally and say, we're not together. Or I'm just doing it because whatever. No shame. We all have done it. We all will probably do it again at some point. It's just how it is when you love somebody. But you're not helping yourself. You're not getting yourself out of the situation. And you've taught them no lesson. There was no tangible consequence to him cheating on you. Besides, now he really gets to have his cake and eat it too, because now you probably aren't in a relationship. You probably broke up with him. So now he really has no reason not to do whatever he was already doing with you. You've given him free range without consequence. Like my example, a example. Before the young man that had cheated on me, he could have called, texted, came to see me. We could have talked about it. And that's the thing that most cheaters don't often do. They're not willing to communicate with you about their feelings before they go do something dumb. And yes, I said dumb because that's how I feel about cheating. Feel how you want to feel about it, but that's how I feel about it. It was just a waste of time. Now, another example on tangible consequences. I knew this young man. We were friends. We can't be friends anymore because his logic just didn't make sense to me, and I couldn't. And I mean like legit just friends. So he had a girlfriend who he had been cheating on. She knew that he had cheated on her at some point in the past. They had got over it, I guess, because they were back together and he was back to living with her. Didn't ask no questions. It didn't matter. It didn't affect me. I don't care. Because she took him back. So it is what it is. Sorry. Tangents. But anyway, he was staying at a friend's house while his girlfriend was on her period or whatever because she was tripping. They don't understand PMS. Also not a thing that's taught. He was talking to this girl, flirting with her, whatever, having conversations with her. And while his girlfriend was on her period, he decided to drive 2 hours to go see this other girl that he could have sex with. Now, because a lot of time young men's brains don't think the same way, let me break it down for y'all. He went and saw this girl that was 2 hours away. Let's say he left at 10 o'clock. Because I honestly don't remember. I just know it was late. Like it was past 8 by the time that he left and took this journey. So let's say it was 10 o'clock. So he drove 2 hours to see her. She didn't live by herself. So whenever they were done doing whatever they were doing, he had to get up and go. So 2 hours back. That's 4 hours now that he's driven. He's probably had to fill up his car. So he wasted gas, he wasted time. He had to get up and go to work the next day. He was late. So now he's missing money on the next check. Adding up to also the gas that he's already wasted to go see this girl. You've gotten written up at work because you were also late. It's just like, was it really worth the pussy? He even came back and said it wasn't even as good as his girlfriend's. So why did you do it? And he didn't have an answer. But I already knew the answer. It didn't matter one way or the other. He had done what he done his dirt, and he knew he was still going to be able to go with his girlfriend the next day, and it was going to be what it was, whether she knew or not. That's his girl. And she's proven to him, because he had already cheated on her, that he can do whatever and get away with it. No consequences. So why not do whatever I'm going to do? It don't matter that now I've missed out on all these things. That didn't register to him as a bad return on his investment. And if I didn't learn anything else from accounting, it was return on investment. It wasn't worth what he did to go get it. And that's just another thing that guys don't understand for whatever reason. He could have waited a week, lost nothing, and, blew his girlfriend back out. But instead, he wasted time, energy, money, and went and did his dirt. So that's really all I got. I gave you guys the two main kinds of cheaters. We got the lack of maturity young man who doesn't know how to openly communicate with you for whatever reason. And we have the have your cake and eat it too guy, which doesn't understand tangible consequences. Both guys, in my opinion, is a lack of maturity. But at the same time, it's also, why not do whatever I want to do if I'm going to get away with it? It's just like, Wall Street and banks and all that good stuff. They always get away with it. So why not continue? Any questions, comments, whatever, drop them into my DM. As always, I'm Misinterpretation on Instagram. That's really all I have right now. I lost Twitter and stuff a long time ago. I'm going to get it back one day. Tune in on Wednesdays. I do Kama Sutra. And I put out videos on relationships, love, and sex. Have a good day.